We have a new mayor of London, Sadiq Kahn. He's the first Muslim mayor. He says, I hope Donald Trump loses the election. My message to Donald Trump and his team is your views of Islam are ignorant. Are you offended by what he said?
Yeah, I am, because he doesn't know me, never met me, doesn't know what I'm all about. I think they're very rude statements, and frankly, tell him I will remember those statements. They're very nasty statements.
Well, look, he did remember them. He's, you know, as we know, if you whack him, he whacks you back, and he's whacked you back. Putting aside the Twitter spat and everything else, and in my view, his ill-advised tweets this week was not the right time to do it. But Donald Trump's whole position on this has been that we are all at risk from Islamist extremists who want to kill us. And he has come up with endless ways, he's suggesting, of trying to stop this, right? You may not agree with them, but that's where he's coming from. After what's been happening in London and Manchester, has Trump not got a point? Is he not allowed, as President of the United States, to say, wake up, everybody, we are under attack, we're in a war here?
I think you're being very generous to Donald Trump.
Well, I'm actually reflecting, I think, what he would say if he was here.
Well, let me tell you what I was commenting on when I said he was ignorant. The idea of, at the time, when he was a candidate, of banning all Muslims from going to the USA. And I made the point that his views are ignorant. Why are they ignorant? Because there are literally millions of Americans born and raised in America who love their country and who are practicing Muslims. But also there are millions of Muslims around the world who love America, me included, who love Americans, who've got family in America. And to play into the so-called ISIS and Daesh narrative that Western liberal values are incompatible with Islam is ignorant.
But for a lot of people in this country right now, they'll be thinking that for a lot of British Muslims, we don't know how many, we know there's 23,000 jihadi suspects, right? A lot of them have not assimilated into the Western values and culture and actually wish us harm. And that is where Trump's coming from. He might be clumsy in the way he phrases it, and he might be offensive in some of his tweeting,
look,
but that's where he comes from.
I'm not running away from the fact that these three terrorists, that the man on Westminster Bridge, that the man in Manchester were justifying their horrific, cowardly acts using a perverse, poisonous interpretation of the faith that I belong to. And it's not in my name. And that's a million miles from the Islam that I know. And I'll tell you this, you speak to the 3 million plus British Muslims, they also condemn unequivocally these men. But also, if it's right, and I think you are right, there's roughly speaking 20,000 people who have views that all of us would find perverse. I tell you this, British Muslims have much stake in making sure we address that than the others, and they are. They're reporting things to the police.
I mean, the charge against you when you called Trump all this stuff, right, which is clearly he's reacted badly to.
By the way, we're not kids at a playground, right? No. He's the president of the USA. Look, I'm too busy to respond to his tweets.
I get it. I get
busy.
The charge against you when you said it was hypocrisy, because you yourself hosted a reception for a bunch of ambassadors from 11 countries that currently bar Israeli civilians from entering, Israeli citizens. I mean, that is hypocritical, isn't it? I mean, you either got to be consistent or not. Why would you invite and have hospitality as London mayor countries who currently ban Israelis? I mean, what's the difference?
I invited ambassadors from all over London to City Hall because, well, let's be clear, I don't agree with that either, by the way. I don't agree with that, and I've
No, but you're prepared to... My point is, if you don't agree with it, you're prepared to have them and host them, because you're not prepared to have Donald Trump. You want to ban the President of the United States. Well, you want to stop him having a state visit. Quite. And my argument to you is, putting aside the silly spats and the argument, you've been calling him ignorant and stupid, he says the same back. Does it help Britain's national interest, whatever you think of Donald Trump, does it help if the President of the United States and the Mayor of London at this particular time are at war with each other?
Well, let's not overdo it. I'm not at war with Donald Trump. I've been clear that we have a special relationship with the USA. It's very important we have a close relationship with the President, whoever he is. Really important. It's really important we work closely with our closest allies. And whenever we've had problems in the past, the USA has come to our help. One of the things about having close mates and having a special relationship, Piers, is to not just stand with them in adversity, but call them out when they are wrong.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And we should call them out when they're wrong. And my point about the state visit was this. Look, state visits are given to, leaders of countries who are respected and have done their dues and have earned a state visit. And in the circumstances where there is the Muslim ban in place, in the circumstances where he changed the refugee programme, I thought it was inappropriate and premature. Now, that's not to say that Prime Minister May was wrong to go and see President Trump. It's not wrong to, that's not to say we shouldn't have close relations with the USA. Some of the messages of support I've received from not just US mayors, US politicians, but ordinary Americans have just, raised my spirits. But also, every day in London, Americans contribute to our economy, contribute to our way of life, contribute culturally.
I don't think it helps anyone that there's this battle between Trump and our leaders here, because actually there's a bigger picture to be dealt with. And don't you think, outside of tweeting and stuff?
It takes two to tango. I'm not tangoing with this guy. I've got better things to do. From Saturday until now, my focus has been dealing with the aftermath of the horrific attack, working with the police, the security services, the government. That's why I've not responded to the tweets from Donald Trump.